When you choose an action, you choose the consequences of that action. When you desire consequence, you had damned well better take the action that would create it. A celebrated author, Louis McMaster Bourgeois, once quoted, "Come to think of it, are the consequences of our actions really in our control?" I would think not. And my story today might reiterate that thought. And so, once upon a time. If I could do something about it, I would. But all I can do is watch. That's the rule of the game, and I had agreed to play by the rules. A lot of the younger ones often ask me, what is my most important learning? And I have to answer even before they have finished the question. It's the ripple effect. You have all seen a calm standing pond, and you've all chucked a stone into the water. If you have, then you remember the ripples that the stone created. It spread away from where the stone splashed into the water, and by the time the ripple got to the banks, it was a little wave. When I stare into a dark starlit sky on many a night, I can't help but ruminate about the importance of the ripple effect. Everything in the world is caused by a ripple effect. Imagine life on Earth. A planet somewhere struck by an asteroid, and the asteroid spread towards Earth. And then it happened to carry the building blocks of life. The sun added to the ripple, and with the water and the heat, the equation was complete and life was born. One thing leads to another, very evidently. But the most heartbreaking thing I have seen is how people set ripples in motion all the time, not knowing how that one ripple could come back to change their lives. Or where I've seen how the adage, what goes around comes around, plays out in life. Now listen to this carefully, because almost everyone gets lost in the ripple, and I find it hard to unripple the ripple, if you know what I mean. I don't know if unripple is a word, there I go again. So, here is how it unfolded. Anuj and Shreya were all set for a life in paradise till a demon called opportunity came and messed things up. Anuj had been offered a better job and better pay, but in another city. Shreya did not want to give up her work. The agendas had changed, and togetherness was destroyed. Anuj took up the job offer, and Shreya, the poor thing, she just went into a depression. Now, hold on to this part of the story. In the meanwhile, Rahul had been a friend of Shreya for the longest time, but he secretly loved her. Perhaps lusted her would have been a better way to describe it. And I know that lust is a word. Rahul wished that Anuj would disappear, leave, die, get kidnapped by aliens, or just spontaneously combust. When he learned that Shreya and Anuj were done, he was delirious. He had a devious plan. Called Shreya over for a friendly drink and then pitch in for the position of a lover from a friend. Now, hold on to this part of the story as well. An hour before Shreya was due to arrive for a drink, Rahul realized that he did not have anything at home to eat. How careless could he be? He called up a popular pizzeria around the corner that did pride itself on delivering every order within an hour. He barked his order on the phone and warned that he would be counting the minutes to the delivery. He wouldn't pay if it was even a minute late. The pizza delivery man was like hell on wheels. He was riding with the order of one pizza at a speed that would give Robin a run for his money. Not the Robin of Hood, but of Gotham. Oh, there I go again. He cut through a lane and charged down a side lane, but not before he had seriously disturbed Mr. Mehta's driving pleasure. Mr. Mehta drove his new BMW into a street light. Boom. Mr. Mehta was not going to leave his car on the road till the towing company got there. This, in turn, upset Mrs. Mehta very much. She had been looking forward for this gala, and she was not going to be seen there without her husband. She hung up on Mr. Mehta and asked him to go to hell instead. Now, Mrs. Mehta had a fallback plan, which was her two friends. They were always at her beck and call, as long as Mrs. Mehta was buying her drinks. So she called her favorite resto bar and asked for a favorite table. Now, the table was unfortunately not available. It was reserved. Mrs. Mehta swore and threatened to call a policeman who closed down bars as a pastime. The table was suddenly available. Now, Yatin was besides himself with rage when he found out that his table had been given away to someone else. He'd been planning this for weeks. He was going to propose to Ria over wine and cheese. And now there was no table to put the wine and cheese on. Ria was with him in the car, and she didn't know why Yatin was so angry. Yatin decided to improvise. He was going to make this memorable for Ria one way or the other. He held her hand and led her to the divider strip in the middle of the road and went down on his knees. The traffic stopped on both sides looking at this beautiful warm scene. Both motorists and passengers shouted and blew their horns in celebration. Anuj was on his way to the airport when he watched Yatin and Ria's scene from the cab. He was hit by a tsunami of realization. This was love. He could never ever leave Shreya. He asked the cabbie to turn the car around and called Shreya to tell her that he was not going. Shreya began to sob with joy. Rahul had to eat a pizza alone. Also, the poor chap had to pretend to be happy for Shreya. He had been downgraded to friend level again. You see the ripple effect? Not always a good idea to threaten a pizza delivery man is not the moral of the story. Hope you get that. Me? I'm still training to be an angel. But even if I do become a regular member of the Angels Brigade, I've been warned that I can never interfere with the ripple effect. That was for the humans to figure.